It's June, which means Nintendo Direct season is upon us. But this time we are relieved of the burden of trying to actually convince ourselves it's happening through various leaks and timelines of previous Nintendo Directs, because Nintendo themselves let us know well in advance that it was coming. This is likely one of those once-in-a-generation things because the boys over in Kyoto know we're frothing at the mouth for anything and everything Switch 2 related, so they figured they might as well control a bit of the narrative for this Direct to try and ease expectations. It's a little bittersweet because as much as it is nice to know, Nintendo rumors are one of the few things that still bring me serotonin in the hellscape that is Twitter. Never mind, we're good. The question on everyone's mind for this Direct, however, is what the hell is there going to be? What do you give the man who already has everything? Well, it turns out there's still a lot, but it's no secret we're at the end of the Switch's life cycle. The end is when Nintendo starts doing some weird shit. Remember when Nintendo re-released Luigi's Mansion and Samus Returns at the end of the 3DS life cycle, even though the Switch was out? That was real cool. Would have hated playing those on my new shiny Switch at the time, but I digress. That was then and this is now. We've probably got at least another 9 months left with the Switch, so let's see what's in store. We open with Metroid Prime 2 HD. I firmly believe that Metroid Prime 4 will be a cross-platform release for the Switch's successor launch date. They promised it on the Switch so you could play it there, or you can play it on the new system with all the bells and whistles. And since we're probably not too far from the official reveal and marketing campaign of the new hardware, finishing what Metroid Prime Remastered did and filling out the trilogy would be a really nice lead up to 4. Now I want to be clear, this won't go as hard as Prime Remastered in regards to the new textures that they added, but instead more of a HD port akin to that of Sunshine or Pikmin 1 and 2. Now I do want to point out that this is a very conventional and logical guess, which leads me to believe that Nintendo probably won't do it, and we won't hear about Metroid Prime 2 or 3 for 5 more generations. But it's a re-release, it'll run fine on the old hardware, and it serves a greater good. Which makes it a prime candidate for an end-of-life Nintendo Direct. A bit of low-hanging fruit here, but Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is Nintendo's next big launch, so we can expect the month of June to be dedicated to its marketing. I have to imagine that they'll spend some time showing off the game again, maybe a little highlight of new features, reminding you to pre-order, and then potentially shadow dropping a demo. Since Luigi's Mansion 2 is a mission-based game, it would probably be easy enough to give players the first mission or two so they can hop around a bit and check the game out before launch. Now Nintendo knows they've got to give the youth something new to play. Nothing crazy, we've got to maintain the sacred launch lineup, but this is the right time to see a return of the fan favorite Rhythm Heaven. Now I don't know what this looks like. Is it a best of compilation of the series up until now? Does she come back? Or is it new? I'm personally guessing the latter. We haven't seen a proper new entry since the Wii, and Japan slaps with Rhythm Heaven, so it would make sense to take advantage of the Switch's success and pair it up with such a beloved title. Rhythm Heaven is also a game you want to sell when most people have access to the console they would play it on, because it is fairly niche, and this would maximize the potential of seeing strong sales. Give the people what they want, Miyamoto. Give them this little white man. Next, we're gonna have everyone's favorite thing of the week vomit, where they just show us 30 of the same game. Is it cozy crafting games? Is it JRPGs? Is it a bunch of random ports from THQ Nordic to stop the bleeding? Who knows? But whatever it is, it's going to take up 75% of the presentation, and we all know it'll be there. I do think that Nintendo Switch Online is going to get a little bit of love. Maybe get a proper Smash Bros. 64, Donkey Kong 64, Banjo-Tooie, I don't know, Diddy Kong Racing, anyone? Let's make a deal, Phil. We all know Game Pass can't save you. Whatever it is, it will be something that warrants a nod during the Direct. Who knows, maybe even Pokemon titles for the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance. And then finally, the Nintendo Direct man gets on the mic and drops something along the lines of, "Re-enter a world of Twilight." And then it's Twilight Princess HD from the Wii U ported over to the Switch, coming maybe late summer or early fall. You can use the Wolf Amiibo. It's the same game as the Wii U version, but it's finally here. And the main reason I say that is that this game is rumored to have been done for a while, with Nintendo just waiting for the right time to launch it. It was never going to happen too close to Tears of the Kingdom, but now we're removed enough from that to avoid oversaturation of Zelda, and it's the perfect game people been asking for throughout the Switch's life cycle to have a nice little nod as we prep for the new hardware. There is this idea going around that Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD might get announced together, but don't do this.
Don't give me hope.
There is no shot in hell these games launch without at least a year apart from one another. These re-releases are padding, and Nintendo is not going to get rid of two heavy hitters in one go. But man oh man, I'm so sad that Twilight Princess is the one with the stronger rumors of the two. It's a fine game, but you can only sploosh in one of them. Sploosh. So there you have it, how I imagine the Direct going. I know I leaned heavy on the re-releases here, but I just don't see a world in where Nintendo swings as hard anymore with the current Switch. I do think that there were plans to release the new hardware later this year, but I buy the idea that they delayed the launch to increase quantity and strengthen the launch lineup to try and get the new Switch in as many hands as possible on day one. We're in limbo, but hopefully for not too much longer. So what do you think? Am I totally off, and is Nintendo actually planning on announcing that the Passion of the Christ 2 is coming exclusively to Switch? Let me know in the comments, and if you feel so inclined, why don't you give that little subscribe button a little Goombella smooch for me? Thanks for watching. Bye.